gmna uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good evening, Montreal. We're starting with Quebec's delay on the new flood zone map, a setback for residents still reeling from recent basement floods. Traffic's light overall, though a few lane closures persist, and downtown's Kawa Cafe just opened a second spot. Over to you, Emma.
Tonight at 8 p.m., the Hike and Match edition Francophone kicks off, inviting singles aged 35 to 45 for a fun, active networking mixer.
The event takes place at the Plateau Community Center, where participants will pair up for a short hike before enjoying conversation and music in a relaxed setting.
Admission is free for members of the local singles club, while non-members can register online for a $10 fee before the doors open.
We've got a lively evening ahead, and with the Hike and Match details shared, it's time to turn to the news. Lots to get to. Let's begin. Good evening, Montreal. Quebec has postponed the August 1, 2026 release of the flood zone map, a Montreal metropolitan community project underway since 2019 to replace an outdated version. Matthew Lachance has the full story.
Officials from the Quebec government and the Montreal metropolitan community gathered here today as they announced a delay in the public rollout of the new flood risk map. The map, which has been under development since 2019, was slated for release on August 1, 2026. But the schedule has now been pushed back without a new date disclosed. The updated map is meant to supersede an older version critics called vague and out of date, aiming to give residents clearer guidance on which neighborhoods face flood danger. Authorities said the postponement will allow additional data verification and refinement of the model before it goes public for the province. Matthew Lachance, GMNA News, Montreal.
The city of des Ormeaux has canceled its planned flood information town hall after 2 class action filings were lodged, leaving residents without a scheduled briefing on June's severe flooding. Ramai Gaudreau has the full story.
The city of des Ormeaux pulled the plug on a town hall slated for this weekend, a meeting that would have briefed residents on the severe flooding that struck in June. Officials announced the cancellation on August 6 after 2 class action requests were filed against the municipality. The legal filings, lodged by local residents, prompted city officials to halt the public information session, citing ongoing litigation. Residents who had been expecting updates on drainage repairs and emergency response now must await a written report. City Council had planned to outline steps for improving drainage and to discuss compensation for damaged property, but those discussions will now be postponed. The decision leaves many questions unanswered as the community grapples with the aftermath of the June floods. Ramai Gaudreau, GMNA News, des Ormeaux.
Montreal merchants are increasingly turning to artificial intelligence tools for posters, menus, and signage, flooding the city's streets with low-quality graphics that critics say overwhelm the visual landscape. Colette Barbeau has the full story.
Businesses across the city are swapping traditional designers for AI generators, churning out posters, menus, and storefront signs in minutes and at a fraction of the cost. The rush has left streets dotted with glossy flyers that often miss the mark, pixelated fonts, mismatched colors, and generic stock images that look as though they were pulled from a random internet feed. Local restaurateurs say the speed and low price make the technology hard to resist, even as the visual clutter grows. Columnist Pascal Levesque has warned that the flood of subpar AI graphics is overwhelming shoppers and changing the character of neighborhood advertising. The shift is reshaping how Montreal's commercial landscape looks, one hastily generated image at a time. Colette Barbeau, GMNA News, Plateau. Les Roses edged the Rise 4-3 in Vancouver on July 30, 2026, with 4 different Rose players finding the net as the team clinches its 4th win in 5 matches. Ramai Gaudreau has the full story.
At the packed Rogers Arena today, the home crowd roared as Les Roses edged the Rise by 4-3. The winning margin came after a back-and-forth battle, with the Roses striking first and the Rise answering each time. 4 different Rose players found the net, each contributing a goal that kept the pressure on. The decisive tally arrived in the final minutes when the lead-changing strike slipped past the Rise keeper. The victory marks the 4th win in 5 outings for the Montreal-based squad, extending their recent surge. Both teams exchanged chances throughout, but the Roses held on for the narrow triumph. Ramai Gaudreau, GMNA News, Vancouver.
Montreal will roll out performance metrics for its street cleaning crews, a move by the Martinez-Ferrada administration aimed at boosting citywide cleanliness. Matthew Lachance has the full story.
City officials announced a new set of performance metrics designed to gauge the work of Montreal's street cleaning crews. The plan, rolled out by the Martinez-Ferrada administration, will introduce specific indicators that track routes completed, debris collected, and response times to complaints. Workers will receive regular reports showing how their neighborhoods rank against citywide targets, and supervisors will use the data to adjust staffing and equipment where needed. The initiative aims to raise the overall cleanliness of streets and public spaces, part of a broader effort to boost urban hygiene across the island. Municipal leaders say the system will provide transparent feedback for both crews and residents, helping keep the city looking its best. Matthew Lachance, GMNA News, Montreal.
Coming up, Montreal homeowners confront 3 consecutive years of basement floods. Tips to safeguard your property. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
Good evening, Montreal. Montreal homeowners are confronting a third straight year of basement flooding, ending 40 years of dry basements, as heavier rain, aging infrastructure, and rapid urban development intensify the risk. Matthew Lachance has the full story.
Basements across the island have been inundated for the third straight year, a streak that began after 4 decades of dry conditions. Homeowners report water seeping in during heavy summer storms, with some seeing up to a foot of standing water in lower levels. Engineers point to aging storm drain networks strained by newer construction and denser neighborhoods, while climate data shows rainfall totals climbing each season. The pattern has persisted from 224 through 226, leaving families to replace drywall, furniture, and appliances repeatedly. Municipal officials say they are reviewing long-term upgrades, but immediate relief remains limited for those facing another wet night. Local plumbing experts now advise installing sump pumps and backflow valves as a precaution. Matthew Lachance, GMNA News, Montreal.
Montreal's Lake St. Louis and the Lachine Canal now boast more than 50 fish species, highlighting the city's urban biodiversity for anglers. Ron Twatty reports on this thriving aquatic scene. Ramai Gaudreau has the full story.
Anglers casting their lines along the banks of Lake St. Louis can hear the splash of a trout as easily as a bass, a testament to the diversity that thrives in Montreal's urban waterways. Just downstream, the historic Lachine Canal winds past old warehouses, where seasoned fishermen pull up pike, catfish, carp, and dozens of other species. According to local expert Ron Twatty, the combined habitats support more than 50 distinct fish species, a number rarely found in a single city setting. The mix of slow-moving river sections and faster currents creates pockets of ideal spawning grounds, drawing both hobbyists and researchers to the water's edge. As the sun reflects off the canal's water, the scene underscores how the city's reclaimed rivers remain vibrant ecosystems. Ramai Gaudreau, GMNA News, Lachine Canal.
3 individuals in Quebec's Montreal region received rabies prophylaxis after possible exposure to a rabid animal, health officials say, while patient details remain confidential. Matthew Lachance has the full story.
3 individuals have begun a series of rabies vaccinations after health officials say they may have come into contact with a rabid animal in the Montreal region. The regional health authority confirmed the prophylactic treatment on July 30th, but declined to release any identifying information to protect patient privacy. The protocol involves a series of shots administered over several weeks, designed to prevent the virus from taking hold. Officials did not specify the animal involved or the circumstances of the exposure, only that the risk assessment warranted immediate medical intervention. No further cases have been reported in the area, and authorities continue to monitor the situation for any additional alerts. Matthew Lachance, GMNA News, Montreal.
Quebec announced a province-wide review of its youth care system after 3 children died in bachelor facilities, including 2 teenage suicides and a 4-year-old girl. Matthew Lachance has the full story.
Provincial officials have launched a comprehensive review of Quebec's youth care network after 3 children in the Batcho system died in July 2026. 2 teenagers took their own lives, and a 4-year-old girl was found dead while under state supervision. The government says the inquiry will examine how children placed in Batcho youth and family centers are monitored, from intake to ongoing support, and will assess protocols across the province's dozens of facilities. Batcho, which delivers services for youngsters in state care throughout Quebec, will cooperate with the review team and provide records for scrutiny. Families of the deceased have been notified, and the ministry promises a report within the next several months. Matthew Lachance, GMNA News, Montreal.
Quebec's regular gasoline price has climbed, prompting a look at taxes, refinery margins, distribution costs, and market dynamics that shape the pump price. Matthew Lachance has the full story.
Regular gasoline in Quebec now carries a price tag built from several distinct layers. At the base sits the cost of crude oil, which fluctuates on global markets and sets the wholesale foundation. On top of that, federal and provincial taxes add a fixed per liter charge, followed by a provincial excise that varies by fuel type. The next slice covers wholesale margins and the cost of transporting the fuel from terminals to local stations. Finally, retailers apply a markup to cover station operations and profit. When each of these components rises, the pump price climbs, which is why drivers are seeing higher numbers at the nozzle this week. Matthew Lachance, GMNA News, Quebec.
Now let's turn to the evening forecast and see what tonight's weather holds for us.
A rising ridge and a northwest jet stream lock in clear skies as a brief rain band skirts the outskirts. On this date, Montreal's all-time high sits at 31.6 degrees Celsius, recorded in 2019 during a persistent heat wave that pushed daily maxima into the mid-30s. The all-time low is 11.5 degrees Celsius, set in 2023 when an Arctic surge slipped south, dumping polar air across the province. By contrast, today's climatological average high hovers around 26 degrees and the average low near 19. Underscoring how today's temperatures sit comfortably between the historic extremes. The live radar shows a band of moderate rain moving east-southeast across the South Shore, just north of the St. Lawrence. It is being steered by the northwest jet at roughly 28 kilometers per hour, pushing the core toward the island. The heaviest echoes sit over the western suburbs now and will sweep over downtown between 6 and 6:15, then thin out by 6:30. After that, the screen clears, leaving only scattered clouds. At 6 p.m., Montreal sits at 23 degrees with mostly clear skies and a light north wind of 6 kilometers per hour. Humidity rests near 57%, and the pressure is near average but nudging upward, sealing in drier, more stable air. Overhead, a modest northwest jet streams at 28 kilometers per hour, reinforcing the ridge and keeping moisture at bay. The UV index reads 5, and wind gusts may reach 12 kilometers per hour from the west later this evening, feeling brisk on exposed surfaces. Sunset will arrive just after 8:25, after which temperatures dip toward 18 degrees. No weather alerts are active, so the night will remain dry and uneventful as the ridge holds. Friday brings a high of 26 degrees and a low of 17, with a thick overcast veil that will keep sunshine at bay. Saturday climbs to 28 degrees at its peak, though the sky stays cloud-filled and a 20% chance of rain will linger into the afternoon. Sunday is the wettest day of the stretch, high 27, low 21, and a 60% rain probability as a slow-moving frontal system drapes the region. Monday continues the damp pattern, high 26, low 20, and a 70% chance of light rain that should linger through the evening. Tuesday finally clears, offering a high of 24 and a low of 19 beneath mostly overcast conditions, ending the week on a drier note overall. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunset is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
Up next, a quick look at today's traffic snarls, the Kawa Cafe Chamber Spotlight, and Thursday's Habs Depth Debate. We will be right back.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
Construction crews are running a contraflow on the Honoré Mercier Bridge, leaving only one lane each direction. That means slower speeds and a possible backup at the St. Laurent and Notre Dame exits. In addition, trucks are barred from the bridge eastbound from 5 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. and westbound from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., so commercial traffic will need to reroute. The Louis-Hippolyte Lafontaine Tunnel now has a reduced clearance of 4.3 meters, so any overheight vehicle should avoid it. On St. Urbain Street, an overpass repair has closed the inner lane, leaving 2 lanes open in each direction. Most other major routes, including the Décurie and the Champlain, remain clear this afternoon. On transit, the SDM strike suspension still limits service. Several bus routes and the Green Line are running on reduced frequency, so expect longer waits at stations. Plan extra time if you travel on the bridge or rely on affected bus lines.
Festival Faves lights up the Comedy Nest tonight at 8 p.m., a showcase of Montreal's sharpest comic talent. Montreal AI Night No. 4 rolls out at Thery's Lavoie Rue, offering a deep dive into AI productization and a chance to network with the city's tech community. For those who prefer conversation over code, the Intelligent Singles Mixer at Bar Léonard brings together curious minds for a relaxed evening of dialogue-driven networking. Meanwhile, the Hike and Match Francophone edition gathers adventurous singles at Café des Amis in the Pavillon du Lac Aux Castors, pairing a guided walk with a matchmaking mixer for those aged 35 to 45. And keep an eye on tomorrow, when the Ashiga Music and Arts Festival kicks off at Parc Jean Drapeau, promising 3 days of international headliners and emerging artists that will define the summer soundtrack. Whether you're after comedy, connection, or culture, today's lineup has a spot for every Montrealer. And now here's Jason with sports.
Depth deals and draft drama shape the Habs' summer outlook. The Canadiens' blue line has swelled, giving general manager Kent Hughes a toolbox beyond last year's roster. Martin St. Louis says the depth isn't a reward for past work but a strategic push. New Laval Rocket coach Daniel Jacob inherits a roster that looks markedly different, setting the stage for a strong campaign. The Habs are weighing Kirill Marchenko's price tag against a roster already crowned among the league's top 5 under 25 cores. Past Brett Kulak deals linger, while Adam Engstrom once commanded deadline attention. Coach Daniel Jacob now has a solid foundation to launch the Rockets' season. Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, and Lane Hutson dissect Hutson's debut, while scouting reports flag Ivan Demidov as a breakout candidate. The front office swapped Sean Farrell for Sasha Pastujov, a move that reshapes forward depth. Meanwhile, Jake Allen publicly balked at the 3-goalie rotation plan. The Canadiens sealed a forward swap, bringing Sasha Pastujov to Montreal in exchange for Sean Farrell. At 23, Pastujov joins the roster as a restricted free agent, mirroring Farrell's contract status, and adds a third-round pedigree to the depth chart. Two-time Olympic star Juraj Slavkovsky is projected onto Team World for the 2027 All-Star Game, underscoring his rising profile. While Columbus remains silent on Kirill Marchenko, the league buzz includes Aho's Finnish Cup celebration and modest Penguins tweaks. Rumors swirl that Kirill Marchenko is on the verge of leaving Columbus, with Montreal positioned as one of 2 likely destinations. The narrative pits Cam Neely as the franchise's antagonist, while the Islanders eye Patrick Lane and the Ducks contemplate the future of 15th overall pick Nikita Klepov.
Kawa Cafe on St. Catherine Street West in downtown Montreal has just opened its newest location, bringing its signature, generously filled sandwiches to the heart of the city. Each sandwich arrives on bread baked fresh to order, a simple ritual that turns a quick lunch into a comforting pause. The shop's arrival adds a warm, community-focused spot to a street known for its bustle, giving office workers and passersby a place to gather over locally sourced ingredients. Neighbors say the aroma of the ovens already feels like a welcome invitation to slow down. In a city that thrives on culinary creativity, Kawa Cafe reminds us that the best meals are shared, one bite at a time. Stay with us as we explore how Petal is suing the Quebec Health Agency for $150 million software theft claim.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
Good evening, Montreal. Petal has filed a lawsuit against the provincial health agency Santé Quebec, accusing it of copying its software and demanding $150 million in damages. The case remains ongoing. Ramai Gaudreau has the full story.
Petal's legal team filed a claim today in Quebec court, accusing the provincial health agency, Santé Quebec, of copying the company's proprietary software. According to the complaint, the agency reproduced core modules of Petal's platform without permission, triggering a demand for $150 million in damages. Petal says its code was used to manage patient records and appointment scheduling across the province, and that the agency continued to distribute the duplicated system after the alleged breach. The lawsuit seeks compensation for lost revenue and the costs of defending its intellectual property. Both parties have been asked to provide technical evidence to support their positions as the case moves forward. Ramai Gaudreau, GMNA News, Quebec.
Montreal police are asking the public for tips to locate a sex offender who allegedly violated his federal supervision conditions, posing a safety risk. The investigation remains ongoing. Matthew Lachance has the full story.
Police officers are canvassing the streets of Montreal today after a federal correctional agency flagged a breach in supervision conditions for a man charged with sexual offenses. The individual, whose identity remains withheld, is listed as a public safety risk and has been classified as wanted by the Montreal Police Service. Officers are urging anyone who may have seen the suspect since July 29, 2026 to call the tip line, stressing that even brief sightings could help locate him quickly. The request follows a formal notice from Correctional Service Canada that the offender failed to comply with his monitoring requirements, prompting an immediate search effort across the city. Authorities say the investigation remains active and they will follow up on every lead. Matthew Lachance, GMNA News, Plateau.
Thank you, Montreal, for joining us on the local sunset. From today's look at the new flood zone map delays to the vibrant urban fishing spots, we appreciate your curiosity. I'm Mark Beaumont. Tune in tomorrow for more stories that matter to our city. See you then.